The rising prices of food and services is a reality that is hard to contend with. Inflated prices is the reality that our hundred that used to afford a dozen of eggs can only buy 10 or 8 eggs, while our savings or income stays the same. It means that the purchasing power of our income or savings affords less. The 2 bags of groceries now cost so much more than we used to pay for them. Savings decline in its power to buy with the costs of today, even if we're not even spending wildly, even if our savings is just sitting somewhere in the bank. So, inflation is no joke. The rising cost of goods waits for no one. We may think we don't need money, money shouldn't be important, or our governments can fix the problem. And as nice as these are, the reality of finances is as serious as talking to our doctor about our MRI's findings. The reality of our economy and our ability to cope or thrive is not something we can shrug off because we believe in grand things, or it doesn't go away even if we appeal for mercy because we are not ready for it. At the end of the day, we can be optimistic, ideal, all we want, or feel invincible against inflation. But as Dr. Gregory House says, when it comes to crossing the street, we still look sideways. There are practical and doable ways to catch up or load power to our income or savings, no matter how much we have, and I shall share these ways later. But first, let me tell you why. Increase in prices is caused by a big demand of goods and services and low supply. To give you an idea, if there is a disruption or difficulty of the delivery of goods or food at ports due to conflicts, for example, the path of cargo ships is rerouted, so more fuel is needed, staffs are paid more, and from there, everything to the supermarket is increased. And disruption can be many things. A pandemic, for example. It can also be protests, violent uprisings in the streets about immigration, about corruption. Work is disrupted and therefore less goods are produced or less tourists book flights. In the global scale, the lack of cooperation among countries, the stalemate, the tit for tat of world leaders, the change of policies or system slows down production of goods. And the adjustment, the confusion, the panic affect the prices. Another cause of inflation is too much money floats around. This happens when countries or a country borrows money no one wants to lend, and these countries resort to just printing money, literally. So it means it's not money that is made from productivity or any business transaction. It's money that appears by magic, but it is borrowed for the future generations to pay for. So, what can we do about our finances? Here are the things you can do. I shall group them into 3 ways. Let me start with investments. Assets are great because they are like our financial partners. They grow without our 8 hours of time and energy. They're like elves, they grow while we sleep. It is like boosting our income or savings with the power to catch up with the rate of inflation. For example, our income may decrease by 5% by inflation, but through investments, it increases by 7%. So our income increases by 2%. So without investing our money, it loses its power to buy goods, even if it is just sitting in the bank. Here are some assets you can invest in. Real estate farms are good investments but require a huge capital. On the downside, liquidity may be a problem, although for some it is seen as an advantage. But investing does not require huge amounts. Buying items such as collectibles that you might know about or engaged in social media clubs can generate profits for you. If you know a lot about wines or vintage wines, baseball cards, and you can find sources, you can hold on to them and sell them and triple, double your capital in the coming years. Knowledge or your exposure just might help you invest or sell them. To invest profitably, the global economy is taken into consideration. You can educate yourself about how the influential world powers deal with their debt, what their debt to GDP ratio is, their long term yields. Learning about the global economy can help you find out how serious inflation is or how long it can take to pan out. Find out if there are major, massive, uncontrolled protests or conflicts. Are economies in harmony? Are countries decoupling from world powers? Because a break into groups from one central power is a major economic event. The uncertainty of this in economic terms takes the form of inflation. You may also want to take into consideration the global trajectory. The world is going towards AI, digitalization, IT. In the progress of IT technology, industrial metals and minerals are going to be scarcer in the future. And investing in industrial metals don't have to cost so much. Things with nickel, copper, like old coins, vases with uranium in antique stores may cost a lot someday. The aluminum tab of soda cans are easy to collect. Who knows what they could be worth someday? Silver from broken appliances, tablets, is also promising. Silver, which is still affordable but is heavily required in so many technologies such as solar panels, gadgets, smart appliances, machines, spacecraft, would be scarcer in the future. And the price of silver earrings, bracelets still is not as shocking as gold, at least at the time of this publishing. Besides silver's technological use, it is also seen as a monetary asset like gold. Precious metals are used as storehouses of wealth or a way to hide wealth. Because in the age of digitalization, if transparency about our identity and habits becomes too invasive, these tangible assets are the way to go. And frankly, not just transparency, but shared authority over our savings. We can see this when banks decide without our approval when or how much we can withdraw or what we can spend on, and probably in what form eventually they would want it, physical or digital. Precious metals are seen to be strategic from the prying eyes of governments. Some tangible assets are easier to store, uh, to uh, to sell or pawn if needed. They are also seen as an investment strategy that is out of the government or politics, policies, and performance. Because many goods are affected by policies and the decisions of world leaders. But the prices of precious metals, as well as other resources such as oil, natural gas, corn, wheat, etc., are not dictated by governments. They are out of the system. They are dictated by demand or the perception of the masses. These precious metals and resources, they do not bow down to world leaders and their tantrums, bromances, or breakups. Investing in commodities is a gameplay that a lot of people do during uncertain times. Of course, there are also the productive assets. Equities, real estate properties generate regular income like rental or dividends. You can invest in stocks, derivatives, commodities for a long term through online trading platforms. You can do that. If you are going to invest, what you can do is invest in assets only at a very high chance of success, such as 75%, because nothing is really perfect. And because of compelling factors such as the edge over competition and at a relatively low price. Just as you would trust yourself with someone who performs with integrity, who has reliable earnings and excellent capabilities. Just don't settle for mediocrity. Bet only on the one with the best record and edge. So your chances of failure or the odds of loss are small. What some also do is diversify their assets. They get into real estates, a little of tangible assets, a little of stocks and equities that are spread across different sectors like healthcare, manufacturing, or even geographies such as ETF or stocks from high performing countries. But if tangible assets or equities are not for you, you can also invest in your skills and knowledge. These pay long term rewards. You invest by paying for mentorship, apprenticeship, for courses to advance your career, or courses that align with the global trajectory, such as AI, digitalization, or IT. The idea behind investment is responding to what the economy is right now and where you think it is going. AI may be taking over our jobs in the near future, so to still be competitive takes irreplaceable advantage such as exceptional skills and integrated knowledge. What you can do is integrate different fields of knowledge or skills, such as for cooking, integrate history, culture, chemistry, medicinal knowledge. If you dance, you can integrate acting, storytelling, singing. So keep evolving, innovating, reinventing yourself. People with exceptional skills are in a way protected in terms of being respected and trusted. So opportunities, related or not, come. But because these are investments, they take time to grow. It takes at least 5 years normally, so manage your expectations. Investing is scary indeed, definitely not for the faint hearted. Investment of time, energy, or capital is like getting into the wilderness, into uncertainty, when you can just stay home, comfortable, warm, nestled. But staying home, or in financial terms, letting your money sit still, is allowing it to afford less and less goods. And in a personal level, allowing yourself to always be afraid, to not learn how to adapt to uncertainty. Investment requires a contribution, capital, like a tuition fee for education. This contribution, whether time, energy, capital, opens a door of financial adventure that is away from the safety of stagnation or personal and financial deterioration. Some opportunities require the internal battle of greed or protection, humility or pride, discipline or carelessness, optimism or pessimism, loss or gain. And in a way, the growth of your finances will depend also on your willingness for opportunities to shake you, to change you, to raise you, to be accountable for yourself no matter what. No excuses, no complaints, no blame. Investments require the negotiation between opposing tendencies until a sweet spot is arrived at between not losing so much and gaining even a little that can be reinvested or hang on to while the profits grow in time. And mind you, this adventure does not end. Neither does your growth. You just keep evolving as a person, changing your beliefs, your principles, your alliances, your needs, your wants, your hunger, your satiation. In some cases, financial growth begins when it becomes less and less about the profits, but more about getting better at self discipline, of abiding by your own investing principles and managing risks. The more you don't chase opportunities, it would seem like they would line up for you and or come before you. The key to investment growth is you. But keep improving anyway, because in times like this, financial success may not just be about gaining, but also about not losing. Because loss is a default because of inflation. So, between deteriorating savings and investing, you might want to invest anyway. There are hedge funds that can help you grow your money if you want to invest in stocks and you don't have the time and the nerve for the volatility. Or you can try collecting or holding on to tangible assets that grow in time. But investments are essentially about looking after yourself in unpredictable times. Investing is a way of being your own parent who sees to it that your income can still afford the things that you and your family need or want, rain or shine. It is a way to be there for yourself because no one will be there for yourself. Not out of indifference, but because others have problems of their own. Investing is like having your own back in an indelible promise of faithfulness and fierce loyalty that no one can give you in full satisfaction except yourself. Now let's talk about your income. The second thing you can do in times of rising prices is preserving your savings or income. Preserving your income is needed for you to buy the things that you need and want and to earn capital for investments. And investments that don't have to be millions but just $5 or your time and energy, which can get you ahead of rising prices. The $10 you lose out of negligence or out of late charges, carefree spending can earn you 200 in a week if it is used wisely. So how do you preserve your income? Here are simple ways you can start with. You can start checking your bills if they are charged correctly, unplug appliances that are not in use, pay on time to avoid late charges, use loose change intentionally. The loose change, you can deposit them or keep them in containers to spend them because the amount is just an illusion. How you see the cents of hundreds might also be how you will see thousands of a million. Or how you are losing the cents is also how you will be losing the hundreds of millions unconsciously. If you cannot keep 100, you might not also keep 1 million because the habits of the wealthy are the same if they only have 100. Budget your income. For some, 60% is allotted to monthly expenses, including allowances for unexpected expenses like gifts. 10% is allotted for investments, and the rest are for self-maintenance, R&R. Um, you need you need some money to keep yourself sharp and mentally fit. Examples are a good mattress for a good sleep, running shoes for exercise, therapy, hiking trips, etc. But this is just a model. You can try other models of budgets. In terms of spending, only buy things that are of great value, necessity, or of relatively low price. Let goods give you so little to regret, especially in times like these. Train your mind, build habits, strengthen your discipline, no matter how small amounts are. Those are the key, not the amount. People come to those they can trust or those who have financial foundation of discipline and habits. For example, you will be offered discounts, perks, loans are easily approved, business opportunities, help, assistance, generosity come easier for people who have finances that are in order. You can also stock up on things that you need that do not expire right away. For example, light bulbs, tissue paper. Spices are easy to store and they last long. In doing so, think of how you can store them because storage can complicate goods. If you're a first timer, food storing can be tricky. You can also weigh if the amount that you spend for these can be used to cope with inflation through investments. You might also want to use cash instead of credit cards so you can see and feel how money leaves your hand. If you have credit card debts, pay them as soon as possible. Pay them with your savings even. Leave just 1 month of your monthly expenses as a safety net and pay everything. Credit card debts charge 200 to 350 out of 1,000 annually. Credit card debts are like a leak to your bucket of savings. You may save a lot, but credit card interest is just going to drain it in huge chunks. After paying your credit card debts, try save for an emergency fund. After that, start investing. You can also plant vegetables and fruits. You can use the seeds of bell peppers you have cooked with, or the roots of onion leaves you have just cut. Put them in moist soil. Situate the pot near a window. Water every 4 days with half a cup. This applies in temperate or tropical climates, by the way. Aloe vera is also one that is not picky, which can withstand drought for weeks near a window, but water every 2 weeks with half a cup. I'm sure there are other easy plants to grow, but you can expand from there. But having plants and pets around are good for our well being. At a time of remote work, digital technologies, and the threat of hyperinflation, we are losing natural warmth or a sense of connectedness. We are getting lonelier and more stressed. Again, a plant by a window would survive. Philodendrons, such as pothos and snake plants, are very, very, very flexible. Try them. These are just some ideas. I'm sure you can think of others. Budgeting and looking after your money can be overwhelming, it's true. But let your discipline not be an act of deprivation or difficulty, but a way of looking after yourself financially. Looking after yourself, this mindset is the greatest thing you can do in times of inflation, because inflation can be merciless. Inflation does not wait for you to be ready. It doesn't stop, even if you think you have endured enough. If you think that someone will step in to help you, that may be disappointing, because no one will, or at least not to your satisfaction. And not because nobody cares, but they too have to catch up with inflation. And only you can really help yourself to your satisfaction, or to the level that you don't have to beg for help anymore, or you don't have to be so stressed looking for someone to borrow money from. Because no one can walk your financial challenges for you. No one can stand in your name when foreclosure arrives. No one can assume your credit score. So install this mindset every day. Lastly, the third way of coping with rising prices is to increase your income. Side hustles don't have to take so much of your time apart from your main source of income, but side hustles are safety nets that don't make you too dependent on your main source of income. Here are some ideas of side hustles. Increasing your income also adds to your investment capital, so try to consider these. You can also sell old items, furniture online. This also relieves your mind from clutter. With the internet, sources of income are so possible. Take advantage of less operational expenses, such as office rental and sometimes storage rental. You can also create contents or blogs. They create revenues for you long terms in many ways, such as through ads, through endorsements, or the product that you can sell on your videos or blogs. Business opportunities don't always require huge capital. Cleaning services, drop shipping are examples of businesses that don't require huge capital. They also There are also business opportunities that don't take so much of your time, such as vending machines. You can also learn to trade online. Trading does not require a huge capital. Capital as low as $10 can enter a position in a small lot size. Trading online is a good skill to learn because jobs may be scarcer because of the conflicts of natural calamities and because of AI, which would be more and more efficient in time. It is scary to trade, yes, but treat losses as lessons to do better. What you can do is enter a trade only at a high probability of success, at least 75%, like at bull flags or at major resistances and supports in daily or weekly charts, in order to keep your potential loss small and rewards big. Try also not to chase. Also, try to measure, account for, or control your potential loss. You may also invest in mentorship if you want to get better at trading right away. You can also copy the trades of experts for a fee that may be too small compared to what you can make. To increase your income, you might want to choose endeavors that multiply your resources of time, energy, or money. Instead of, for example, dog sitting for one puppy, you can do dog sit for three dogs when an hour of your time is paid three times. Or you can choose endeavors that allow you to express yourself, like singing in a band or doing physical activities such as sports coaching, something that is different from your everyday work. This way, you get to release pent up feelings for the week, or you can get to release stress at the same time. Getting yourself in equilibrium provides rejuvenation for the next week of work, or provides a recharge for quality time with loved ones. In increasing your income, the key is not the amount you gain every month, but it is about training your mind to see or follow through opportunities. Because when you seek, you shall receive. If you seek to increase your income, even by asking around, searching, or probing online, or seeing your room to hold things that you don't need that might amount to something, this is the mindset of wealth. And the more you seek, the more opportunities come to you. Just like when you keep searching online, your feeds give more and more of what you want. Again, the rising cost of goods waits for no one. Financial security becomes paramount during inflationary times. We may think we want to be ideal, hopeful, play a victim because we are not ready, but the reality of finances is objective. No pun intended. It is what it is. Denying the reality may seem to work, but when savings or income don't cover the bills, stress happens, fights happen. We become sleepless, terrified of any emergency or extra expenses. It feels like we will just explode of some unforeseen fee, or we will just stare away at any extra bill that comes along, pretend it's not there until we can't. When we have money troubles, everything else gets messed up. Relationships, work. We scold at our children. We forget anniversaries. We snap at someone innocent. Make stupid decisions. Even if we think money is not important. Or even if we think the government will fix the problem. Financial security is not only about being able to afford needs, but having the peace of mind that expenses and everything else are covered. Money is not some spiritual construct. Yes, but it puts a mirror to ourselves for us to see if we where we are is where we want to be now or in the future. If what we are doing now is for the tomorrow we are wanting to build. What you can do about your finances in times of rising prices is to have order, control, and direction about your income and savings. This way helps sail through storms with confidence that you and your family are going to be okay. By minding your expenses, increasing your income, and investing, you gain the confidence to face every day of rising prices. And the key is not about the amount you are losing or accumulating, but the habits you form, the mindsets you instill, because these will serve you not only for a day or a month, but long term, and not only you, but also the people around you. Once the mindset is in place, habits are stable. Sit back and trust that your finances will grow. You don't even have to calculate or peg an amount. Just be open to any form of abundance it can look like. Abundance can be in the form of stable partnerships, long term financial growth, people who protect you, or a lifestyle of a cozy home and freedom to do whatever you want. Stable mindsets and habits give financial direction and clarity of goals. Consequently, they drive away or repel chaos, aimlessness, and chatter. People who have money troubles do not want to partner up with one who can see through their mess. So only people who are also straightened out want to deal with you. They will also protect you or stick with you because you are sorted out. So, in uncertain times, the focused habits and mindsets, those with stable foundation, don't get blown by the wind. How could they? Money is already consciously habituated to be preserved. Money is already invested, and endeavors are already identified and taken to increase income. And in practical terms, a stable foundation is trustworthy at uncertain times. In a way, it's like when you have your own back, life or people or opportunities will also have your back. In the meantime, while you trust for your finances to unravel, live your life fully. Enjoy the company of great friends and family. Take care of your health, physical and mental, through sleep, diet, exercise. Spend, donate, reward people who work with you or for you. In other words, enrich your life even in inflation. And lastly, you are not too late to improve your habits and mindsets. It's not too late, inflation or no inflation. On a personal level, the concept of finances seems to represent a chess game. No matter where we are financially, what our pasts are, especially when inflation is eating up our savings, we are here to dig into what we've got, our potentials, our judgment, our courage. The concept of finances seeks to unravel us to reach our highest potential.